Everybody, welcome back. We have normalized win rates here. Okay, looks like platinum might be normal. Still a lot of stuff that's kind of high. Alright, let me grab Jason here. Bite. Some are really 53. I feel like some of this is still inflated. Like, there's not enough stuff in the red. It's not as inflated as it was. Yo, what up?
What up? What up?
I don't understand the set, pick, and pro. What is his win rate? Let me see real quick. And I'll go ahead and fire us up. Yo, what's up, Romeo? Great to see you, man. How you doing? I think it's been a hot minute. You still doing the, Did you do like some MMA or something? Some kind of combat sport? What's up, Carson? What's up, Faded? You're an Inazak? Yeah, hey man, I appreciate you. Yeah, I accidentally logged on to my other account. But I can actually play on that account with Jason. Jason's P2 now.
We climbing.
That's right. Oh, cool, man. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully it gets a little bit better. I am Faded. Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm going to start releasing some episodes. I know, like, so many content creators are flooding with episodes of that. I meant to release some today, but it's kind of late at night, so I guess I'll release them tomorrow. I'm doing a bard. Basically, a lore bard that's kind of specialized in charisma and dexterity. So I went 16-16 on those two. They changed, at least a little bit from what I remember, the pickpocketing. Yeah, making all the new characters is fun. But they made pickpocketing a lot harder. Or maybe it's the difficulty level, because I'm playing it on the highest difficulty level, the tactical or whatever. But you used to be able to talk your way out of it if you got caught pickpocketing. But now, you either have to fight or go to jail, basically. And so I'm trying to, like, figure... And if you go to jail, they take all your stuff. So I'm trying to figure out some of the mechanics. And there's, like, hidden penalties to it as well. Do we ban Zerath? I mean, if he wants to, sure, just to make him happy. Because it's like, I've had several times where it's like, okay, if you pickpocket this item, you only need to roll a 7 on a d20, a 7 or higher, and then I get +7 to my rolls from all the skills, and then somehow I miss. So I'm just like, what? How? That's not even mathematically possible. I think if you roll a 1, you automatically fail, though, no matter what. So that might be it. But yeah, I've been trying to figure out different mechanics, but it's fun. I'm getting into it. I've kind of got a little bit of a workaround. Been trying to use the thief, Astarian.
I'm gonna have to get the game.
Yeah, it's fun. To kind of do my dirty work, and then I don't keep any items on him. So if he gets caught, I just let him go to jail, and it doesn't matter. And it hurts your diplomacy with the person if they catch you, but only the person who was trying to pickpocket. So as long as it's not your main dialogue person, it doesn't matter that much, I don't think. So, I do think having a charisma-based character, it depends on how you want to play it, for dialogue is good. The warlock that you pick up as a companion is charisma. You can use him. But the way, without spoilers, the way that I haven't gotten too far in the early access or in the main game, but the way I think the decisions are lining up, I'm not sure if he's going to be a reliable person for my dialogues. And I don't know if it matters. I don't think it matters if you have someone else doing the talking for you. It still gives you credit for making those choices, the main character. As far as your companions approving or disapproving. You can do a thief with charisma, or you can bump something else with charisma too, but charisma doesn't really do very much outside of dialogue, except for a couple of characters, like Bard, that's your spell power. So your spells get stronger when you increase your charisma, and you get dialogue. So that's why Bard's nice. I think Paladin also, your spells are based on your charisma, so Paladin's a good one, and then Warlock, your spells are based on your charisma, so actually playing a Warlock can be good too. So, but yeah, there are so many options that are really good.
Dad, I saw Peach. I saw Peach on your screen.
Oh, Sorcerer might be able to do it too. Yeah, I haven't used Sorcerer. Hey, cool. That's awesome, Romeo. Cool, man. Well, it's great to see you again out here. Yeah, I really like it. I'm having a blast. I'm just trying to like reorient myself to learn these different pickpocketing rules. Okay. So yeah, I really didn't look at the Sorcerer that much. That would be cool though. Yeah, they can like, they seemed a little advanced. Like you can modify their spells and stuff to have extra powers. I kind of want a party with like 2 melee DPS because it looks like they can just clap. Like either Barbarian, Warrior, or and a Warrior, or a Rogue. Rogue looks like early game like they can really drop the hammer because you can dual wield crossbows.
Oh hell yeah, dude! I'm about to make a rogue.
And if you go thief at level 3, you get an extra bonus action. So I think you can get 3 shots with your crossbow early, which is just like melt early enemies. Yo, what's up, B-Rad? But yeah, the rogues look pretty pimp. Obviously they're squishy though, so I don't know how they're gonna hold up against like bosses, but maybe that's it. But I am digging the Bard. It's just like right now my it's got so many interesting choices because there's like combat efficiency, like what you want to actually win, but then there's also like the RP element. And it's like a lot of these melee people don't vibe as well as some of these other characters. Like the people that my choices tend to vibe with the best are the Sorcerer, or the Wizard, Gale, and Shadowheart. So if I do like Bard, Cleric, Wizard, it feels like my DPS is pretty low, but we have a hell of a lot of utility early game. So I've managed to make it work, but I kind of wonder, I'm like, man, should I just sub out the Wizard for more DPS early? But
it's a revolution, and it's good time.
I don't know if we can get one of these guys or not. I kind of want to be level 3, and I don't know where what's her name is yet. What's up, Sammy? We're talking about Baldur's Gate 3, which just came out, I think, a couple of days ago. Yeah, you should. I mean, it's only, but it is $60. It is full price at a normal game, but I think it's worth. It's fun, especially if Connor and the crew are playing it.
Oh yeah.
Gives you something else to talk about. Still haven't seen, what's her name yet?
Look right, moves right.
Yeah, I haven't seen Belveth either.
She's gonna show
Oh, yeah,
on one
she's-
of these, scuttles soon.
I found her.
Okay. Mystery solved. Okay, so she's going for bot scuttle.
She did take a turret shot.
How low is she? Let's see. You don't have prio.
She's like half.
Okay, hang on. Can we get her?
Humans think that to believe
She's
in
kind of
something-
low.
That's their problem.
That's alright.
Flash, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like my allies aren't ready.
Yeah, I think it's a cool game.
Using my cloak.
Um,
I mean, seriously.
It kind of is a blend between
I need to see if people see how awesome I am. Fun. I need
that's
some
bad
fun.
spot.
Now.
Should not have run that way. Triss is not gonna be able to kill him. It's a
I dance
disaster.
because I'm free.
Yeah, he shouldn't have done it. I mean, once we got her flash, if we just ran away at red buff, I think we could have done it. Now this is just so bad. We're gonna lose like 50 million CS at this tower because it was slow pushing. Ugh, they're already up like a level and a half. That's why roaming is bad. People aren't smart enough to do it at this elo. And she saw what? Oh, that you can characterize, yeah, their genitals a little bit.
They ain't seen movies.
Said his
Oh,
wife
God.
was offended by that. I mean, actually, we're not down a lot of CS somehow. They're gonna catch most of this, though. I assume. Okay, we're actually not down that much. I think we're still down XP, but
Wee, whoop.
naked female character. They don't have as many customization options for the females. I guess there's not as much visually. Rory, honey, daddy's trying to focus. What are you doing?
An ally has been slain.
I'm hungry.
Okay, well, go downstairs and get something to eat.
I'm gonna burn this place down.
Yeah, I can't make anything while I'm doing this.
So I
Why are we
can
letting
burn
this
it.
champion get out of hand?
Was it Jax? No, that.
No, Belveth.
thing,
I hate
yeah.
this champion.
Yeah, she's
The
annoying.
thing. Yeah. The thing.
Look good. I feel good. Let's kick some ass.
Honey, Rory, you gotta go somewhere else while I'm doing this, okay? Why don't you go lay over there on the couch?
I'm hungry.
What's up, Hell Not? Honey, you know how to get food. What are you wanting? I can't do it right now. I'll get you something after this game. Okay.
Some breakfast.
They're scared of darkness. They're scared of magic.
Okay.
They are scared.
Really?
Belveth spot side.
God.
I don't think she's coming to you guys.
Okay.
For humans, magic is like fire. For us,
Fuck, I'm dead. Rory, okay, honey, you gotta go somewhere else. Can you go sit on the couch? Please?
But you wouldn't do this.
Do what?
Do
ain't nothing
that.
I say should
Stop.
be taken seriously. That's why it's the truth.
How do you die when I'm right behind you? Dad, how do you die when I'm right
An
behind you?
enemy has been slain.
Well, I made a bad mistake there, but it is distracting when you're rocking behind me and messing with the cabinets and... missed cannon. Right, why don't you go lay down on the couch?
Magic is a wilderness.
I'll get you something to eat after I'm done with this game.
Some of the strength. I'm gonna live forever. Onward.
Yeah, the Hecarim just went way too hard after Flash. It's just so predictable people do that.
Bring it on.
I mean, Triss made, like, we had a big wave in the tower. It seems like that's such a bronze, like, knowledge. If there's a huge wave in the tower, don't gank. Wait until the wave is done. Like, just wait 5 seconds. Like, I don't understand what's so hard about that. To conceptualize. Because if you leave the tower, you're guaranteed losing golden experience. Like, 100%. And, like, we got Aphelios' Flash. Like, that's fine. Just leave. Go get a camp. And come back. You know, sometime within 5 minutes.
Woo! I'm so into this. What is this?
They were just so greedy to go for Flash and a kill. And they're up on levels because of that previous roam. That was a terrible idea when I told him not to do it because we didn't have prio. We can still win, but it's just people just are so dumb. And also pinged I didn't have my W. I pinged it had 5 seconds and he still went. Okay, they just used everything. We got outlooks. Alright, I might have to get mercs.
They will remember my name.
Your Highness is the chosen pronoun, yeah. Why buff 2 champs with broken kits and good items? Which champs are broken?
I dance because I'm free.
Zyro, Lux, Annie, new meta. I don't think AP champs are meta right now. They can be good. I mean, Xerath is one that people are saying is really good. I don't know. It's the same old story. Like, Xerath can be oppressive in lane with another, like, poke or range champ. But then, if you're not just, like, insanely far ahead, you don't have them pinned at a tower, you have to actually rotate, you just get picked so easily in mid to late game.
The universe loves me.
Especially as a support, because you have to ward. If you're like Xerath mid, and you don't have to ward, and you get to just park it in mid lane and just wave clear, then, like, that's a little bit better, but... We have items yet? Not really. God, he got a cold too, and he's up 40 CS.
I'm here.
The ADC curse continues. Triss also could have just left. Like that nonsense bottom where Hecarim tried to invade those golems. We were both out. I had to blow a flash, but Triss didn't have to go in. I think she died with flash too.
Do we know where Belvis at?
Yeah, I just bottom.
Bottom? Oh, okay, okay.
And Triss didn't give me jump range, so I had to blow flash. All the stress is getting to you. What do you... Well, I don't want to pry. But hopefully whatever's stressing you out will unstress you. Won't be as much of a problem soon. Nice.
Oh no. Oh, I'm so sorry. Phew. Thank you.
Got him.
Wow.
I thought you were gonna die because I missed my Q, but we got it. She flashed for that
Barely.
too.
Good.
You're only given a little spark of madness. You mustn't lose it.
Oh yeah, I'm a big boy now.
Oh yeah. They're about to get tower. First tower.
Your turret has been destroyed.
It's all filthy and dangerous. And that's why I love it. This looks like another dangerous situation.
Not sure where Lux is at. Okay.
It's right there, looking at Scuttle.
If it don't get out of control, it ain't a party. Yep, if I'm gonna see the human world, I need to start.
Get Scuttle, bro. Get the Scuttle, man. Did it heal yet? No prio. Might as well. Just fuck it. Let's do dragon. We don't have prio mid or bottom. Should have just done Scuttle and then ganked one of those lanes. This guy's so bad. And of course I die for that. Clock was actually important. Oh yeah, the clock is massive. I mean, they've made it a lot easier since back in the day, where they give you little icons on major objectives on the map that you can see, like, okay, that's going to be up in about a minute, you know, if it's silver.
Trying to live the
And then it gives you these timers up here, so you don't even have to look at the whole clock. And you can ping various things to let people know, like I can ping the dragon timer and it'll tell them in chat. So they've tried to make it easier, but people still don't pay attention. Okay, well, I mean, Mord's doing really well, you're doing really well, so that's good.
I don't need anything but the right man.
If they push, I think we kill them.
I don't have ult for 8 seconds.
Okay. Well, maybe let's see if they push.
I'm gonna get that cannon.
Plain
Oh.
Good.
fence us away, covered with refuse.
I mean, he can force a 1v1, but... Okay, now I've got ult and ignite.
Okay.
Ari's probably gonna kill Triss here in a moment.
Coming. No.
Oh my god, real? Wow. Can't believe Jax just gave him that. He was gonna die. Jax just walks up into melee. Okay. I guess they got Jax's flash. But yeah, it's rough. Alright, let's do Pizza time.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Prof, me and my girl got in an argument over the social gathering event stuff. Hey, what's up, too? It's good to see you. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I mean, what was the nature of the argument? You trying to ask her, like, get her to... God, for real?
They want we
Your turret has been
Give me the
destroyed.
cannon. Got Scuttle here, if you want it.
Yeah.
love is supposed to hurt. Ecstasy.
Troll as hell.
Uh-oh.
Ward's there. We can exit
Yeah.
this way, I think. Heck does have ult. Oh, he going for it? No, dude, that looks bad. So bad. Hopefully, well, we got their jungler, so maybe they don't. Baron. Maybe more than 1v9s.
Close.
So what was it? Were you trying to, like, get her to promise you stuff or something?
Your turret has been destroyed.
I am the star. I am born of magic. This is my destiny.
Nah, hell no, it's fine. He just says some interesting stuff or has interesting emojis sometimes. He's not a bot or anything malicious. Can we even get this? Can I even look at this? I don't think so.
Dragon gone.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna go look. Lux probably sitting in a
It's
bush
all right.
somewhere.
It's okay.
Dying way too many times. Died like 2 or 3 times, just trying to, as usual, just trying to save impossible situations.
You know when the actions come. Danger is as fun as you let it be.
Playing with fire, trying to clear wards when Ari's hanging out.
Is my cloak right? Yes, it is. I was worried there for a second.
Okay. Wait. Fuck, I thought Hecarim was going. They might have something in here warded. They're acting like it is, yeah, just get out.
I'm just here
Okay,
for
so I
the
guess it's right there. Okay, go kill
Go
Jax,
Jax.
maybe. Yeah.
I can't wait to see what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, they could be like all in there. Be careful. What are we? Really? I mean, they're there.
Fight this, I guess.
Oh Lord! That was
I
perfect.
got two.
Yeah. I knew you'd. I was just sending the alley oop.
Yep, and I would even flash to you, but I didn't have to. I
Triple
saw the
dunked him.
opportunity.
That was like the dream scenario right there. All 3 of them are standing right on top of each other.
The Hecarim ult, into your ult, into my ult.
That's right. Clapping him.
You'll never understand our eyes until you hear the song.
Alright, let's reset, man. We don't have a wave. What the fuck is this guy doing?
You're right.
It's like, what if we just go stand by their tower?
Okay,
Oh, yeah. Shadow Flame
And
here.
I'm watching.
They have a little bit of shields with Lux, and I think Belveth might have some sort of shielding.
Yeah. I mean, it's still, like, pretty good against squishies, even without the shield, I think.
Yeah.
Is he dead?
Never
An
seen
ally
this.
has been slain.
Wow, dude.
This guy just makes it so hard to carry him. Like, he's just so bad. But we can still do it. It's just... I think we're...
Oh, wow.
Oh god, he's white red gun too.
Oh, man.
Has been slain. Your turret has been destroyed. An enemy has been slain.
Getting baited. Of course, Hecarim's like pinging it because he failed. He's like, guys, finish him off. It's like, bro, it was a bad idea when you did it. It was a bad idea when we did it.
Did Sonic get upset or something?
I don't know. I muted a long time ago.
Okay.
Just AFK split pushing side lanes, I guess.
Yeah, I was just wondering what happened there.
I do not
Probably.
wish to kill the
I mean,
mortal.
Hecarim called her trash earlier.
Hmm.
Has been slain.
Alright, well. That's good. So she probably won't be there for this.
I got freedom. I got a lady. I got a cause I die for. That's who I am.
Oh, she dies. Oh, never mind. Almost to you.
I got Scuttle for this. Ugh, it's annoying.
Supposed to scout around.
They're probably gonna go try to pick Tristana.
I have
If I was them, that's what I'd be doing right now. Yeah.
Jack's TPing somewhere.
Probably bottom.
We need to kill Bilios, like right here. He'll be walking right over here.
Hecarim, what the fuck? You don't even have ult! Okay. We gotta... I guess we're fighting this.
Enemy triple kill. Killing spree.
Such a bad fight.
You have been slain.
Triss, why are you pushing, buddy? Doesn't Ari just come kill her? Alright, well. What the fuck, like... what?
Dazed.
Dude. Okay. My god. How...
I guess it's an, honestly.
How are these people in the Zelo? I don't know. What'd Kevin say? Kevin's a good friend of the channel. I'm not sure. Sorry about that, Kevin. I'm not sure why Kevin's message got deleted. I remember it was doing something like that. It just like... Nah, we can still win.
Call it battle.
I mean, our solo laners are still doing really well. Hecarim occasionally makes an okay play.
Oh god.
God, are we... I mean, he got that one.
Just not there.
I know. So fucking dumb. And I didn't have my ignite.
Ally has been slain. Your turret has been destroyed.
God, I gotta just let him die. The thing, it's like... Fuck, he just baits me because like they were so low. It's like if I was just like 100 units away, maybe if I harder commit to that and then E in like a second earlier, like we kill Aphelios, but we're still both dying there. I don't know. I just gotta let him die.
I will walk in. I will dance. They will
Your turret has been destroyed.
He just like has no mini map, has no like sense. He's just bad.
Your inhibitor has been destroyed.
But we can still win. We're down an inhibitor, but he is Hecarim. You know, at a certain point, we can do the, you know, Sports Center play like we did earlier. Jax is dead. I mean, if we can push mid.
Yeah.
Without wild magic, we have
I'm gonna go right there though.
we have no
Oh, wow, they're doing it? No? Just an int? Well, an int by us again. Give me jump,
man. You seen that?
So it was just a bait. She's just standing there. That was actually kind of clever, knowing just how dumb this Hecarim is. And he's gonna go for that. I thought she had DC'd or something, honestly.
Oh wow.
Jesus, dude.
Enemy double kill. An enemy is legendary.
Yeah, we lose. Maybe not yet. Well, maybe.
It's gonna be tough. Yeah, she's got a million of those little squid things.
A summoner has disconnected. Ace.
Yeah, I think if I died like 4 times less or something. Because I don't... Did any one of my plays, I don't think a single play where I tried to go in and help Hecarim, like, did anything positive when he died. I think I just died. And I believe that was like 4 or 5 of my deaths. Yeah, that was one of those rare games where like Jason and Mordekaiser were really far ahead. We just needed either Triss to play the game or Hecarim to not int. Just play like he's gold instead of silver and we could have won. What is that dude's like? I don't know. Maybe he just like tilts really hard or something. So he plays okay sometimes to get rank. But then if he's behind, he just starts like turbo inting or something. I really don't understand how he wins if he plays like that every game. Or is he off-rolled or something? Sort of. Okay, so he just hasn't played very many games this season. He was... what? 2023. Wait, how the hell does this work? So he finished Split 1 as Gold 3, which I would believe that, as far as his gameplay. But now he's 42% so far in Split 2, and he's Platinum 4. How does that work? He won like 8 in a row, I guess, at the start? Maybe he won like his first 8 games in a row and somehow got to Platinum 4 and then he's lost. Because he's 8 and 11, but he's 3 divisions higher than where he's ended last split.
That's weird.
I don't get the math. I don't know. We still could have won if I just didn't die as much. When we had that Baron, I mean, if we didn't all go into red and like follow his ping after he went in there, because that gave Mordekaiser shutdown. I don't remember if Jason had a shutdown or not at that point. They killed me, and they stopped our Baron push. So that was huge, because we would have, if we just played like, you know, if we didn't do that, we could have at least gotten like the tier 2 middle. I'm pretty sure. So that, I mean, that was probably like a 2,000 or 3,000 gold swing. And we would have had Prio for the dragon. We would have still had, because I think their 4th dragon came up when we had Baron. He was like, he was going around trying to flank without his ult. When we're all positioning for Baron. And like, we know they're all there, right? Because they've been messing with me for like 30 seconds. Fighting for vision around Tribush because I'm trying to protect Triss because she's like a lemming in the side lane. And I know they're going to try to gank her before Dragon. People are loving these AP champs. I don't know, maybe that is the meta, at least in terms of what people are playing. That's what kind of like platinum, I don't know, it's, 'cause I feel like that's what a lot of people do and like used to do in like gold and lower is just play AP champs all the time because he's got to do damage to carry. It could be off-roll people too, I guess. I mean, most picked in platinum. I'm gonna wait a second. Lux and Xerath are the 4th and 5th most picked. Like, nobody's picking Rel, I guess. I can engage champs. Blitz is also popular. I mean, I get, like, people are playing Nautilus and Thresh, I suppose. Rakan is number 3. I don't like that. Alright, let me see if I missed anything else in chat. Sorry. Oh, sorry, Toos. I didn't see that earlier. I don't know if you're still here.
Not forgiven. Just kidding.
Okay. Being chill, saying do whatever you want. Okay, Toos, at this rave or whatever. Okay, let me see. I had to scroll down a little bit. Sorry, I'm catching up. That last one had me stressing a bit. Okay, so you were trying to be chill, saying do whatever you want. Well, I mean, saying do whatever you want means you can do it, but I'm not like happy with it or supporting it. I think it depends on how you say do whatever you want. You know what I mean? So yeah, tone does matter, but it's also kind of the dynamic matters, and I can't really gauge that, you know. But yeah, I mean, ideally it'd be something, you know, you want to be true to yourself. If you're uncomfortable with something, you don't necessarily want to lie about it, I guess, but it's like, I don't know. It's like if you're in an argument or someone asks how you are, you ask your wife or your girlfriend,
Can I watch TV up
you look a little upset, what's going on, and they say I'm fine.
Dad.
Famous meme, it's like they're not fine.
Dad,
What?
Nope.
can I watch TV up here?
Okay, sure. Yeah, so you gotta read into it. So like fine or do whatever you want or things like that usually means that it's not like they're not liking whatever's going on. So yeah, you gotta read between the issues. Okay, and then let me catch up with the rest of it. Feel miserable. Hold on, let's see. Went up front with her about me being uncomfortable. Okay, so And you said you're uncomfortable about it. Okay. How we wouldn't go with, I assume you maybe mean without, oh, without one another, yeah. Oh, I see, Kevin, that makes sense as far as, like, placement. Feels so miserable. Yeah, it can be rough, I mean, because it's like, I don't know, it just sounds like you just gotta, I mean, I'm not like a therapist or a counselor or psychologist or whatever, but, you know, you gotta try to get yourself to a place where you trust her and feel comfortable with her doing her own thing. Right? Like, it doesn't sound like it's a jealousy thing, like you wish you were going. But it's like, you gotta figure out, like, what is it that is making you feel uncomfortable about this? I think that's what you kind of have to ask yourself. Okay, I feel this way. And you just, you know, people just feel how they feel to start with, right? But then you know, if you're not liking how you feel about something, or like what the, you know, impact of that might be, then I feel like you can ask yourself, okay, why am I feeling this way? You just ask yourself, like, what makes me feel uncomfortable about her going to this event? That's true. They can flirt with her, but you gotta remember that just because... First of all, every girl is gonna get flirted with everywhere, all the time. Just about. Like, so you gotta understand that, you know, there's almost always gonna be, you know, some guy somewhere that's flirty. Well, yeah, that's how the environment is, but just because they flirt with her doesn't mean that she has to, like, do anything. You know what I mean? I mean, people, if you think about it, you know, there might be girls that flirt with you a little bit. I think that guys, I don't know if this is sexist or accurate or what. I feel like guys will flirt with girls more than girls will flirt with guys, just like random strangers and stuff. But, I mean, it can still happen, and sometimes women are a little more subtle about it. But people are just gonna flirt, right? Or people are gonna think your girlfriend's probably attractive at times. Just like other girls are probably gonna think you're attractive at times. That's just how it goes. But it's like, you know, what people choose to do with that. I mean, you gotta ask yourself this, and I mean, it kind of depends, but... You know, it's kind of a different potential problem if you're dating somebody and nobody flirts with her. Or nobody wants to flirt with her, right? So it just kind of comes with the territory a lot of times. If you're dating someone who's cool, or pretty, or both, or whatever, people are going to flirt with them. And yeah, you're right, like, clubs and raves and things like that. Yeah, the expectation is a little bit more, like... People might be doing drugs, people might be willing to, you know, do some things they wouldn't normally do. But especially if she's there with her aunt and uncle, you know what I mean? It just comes down to trust.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Takes two people to have an affair, right? So just because there's, you know, someone that, or maybe several people that would be interested, you know, in your girlfriend doesn't necessarily mean that she has to follow through on anything. So yeah, I mean, that is how it is.
Because I'm free.
But, you know, you gotta ask, what are her intentions, too? Why does she want to go to this? I mean, that's something that's important, too, especially when you're thinking about relationships and other people. Is sometimes, you know, you have to negotiate or give up some stuff that you want, or that, you know, be willing to put up with some stuff that might not be your favorite scenario, right? For the sake of your partner. Now, how much is too much to do that? It depends. But you can't always have things exactly the way that you want them. You know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, just on a smaller scale,
Humans think that to believe
right?
in
Like
something
sometimes you
greater
just
than
gotta
themselves
go to Bed Bath & Beyond with your girlfriend, or you just gotta watch, I don't even know, Bridget Jones' Diary or something, you know, like, instead of Lord of the Rings, right? Like, you just gotta do stuff that they want to do sometimes that may not be the stuff you want to do. And they're probably going to do that too, right? That's a good relationship a lot of times. It's like, maybe she doesn't want to go to this restaurant you like going to, or maybe she would rather see this different movie, but she goes to go see your movie sometimes. So it's just like, there's always a bit of a give and a take. Now this sounds like it's a bit more of a higher level than that, where it does make you feel uncomfortable. But you gotta, again, sort of ask yourself, what's her intention? Why does she want to go to this? Is important too. If it's just to have fun because she's never been to one, she wants that experience, maybe it's something that her uncle and aunt really like to do and she's just never been able to share that experience with them. Then that's different than if she just wants to go and, like, get fucked up and make some bad decisions. You know what I mean? So it's like, yes, that's why a lot of people do go to things like raves, but that doesn't mean that's the only reason people could want to go to those things. Right? Maybe she's different. There are people that are different. So, you know, just try to understand, like, why this is important to her, even if you don't fully get it, even if it's, like, not something you would personally want to do. And just honor it because it's something that will make her happy and you want her to be happy. Like,
the universe loves me.
Who's their Joker? Yi?
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mean that's part of it too. It's like, it's trust, but it's also just like
An ally has been slain.
being willing to do something that is not your favorite to make your partner happy. It's easy to do stuff to make your partner happy if it also makes you happy, right? That's not really a choice. It's like, all right, yeah, we both like to do this, we do it, right? But where the choice comes in, and where I think being a good relationship comes in, is you're willing to do stuff that maybe you wouldn't normally do to make them happy. You're willing to sacrifice a little bit, take one for the team sometimes, you know? And again, it depends on what it is, you know? You don't want to compromise your own morals, and you don't want to be in a situation where you're constantly feeling uncomfortable with what the other person's doing, right? Well, it depends. I mean, like I said, I'm not like, I feel like, and I don't want to be the, like, sound condescending or anything. I'm just trying to, like, be relatable. It's difficult to, it was difficult for me when I was younger, you know, like I talked about before with the band guy that was always giving my girlfriend a hug, which was, you know, and they were friends, but, and I didn't think she was actually gonna cheat on him, or like cheat on me with him, but it was just like, kind of like the disrespect, sort of, that I felt, because I feel like I just was not, like, confident and comfortable in who I was, because I hadn't really had, like, a serious girlfriend before. So, you know, I totally get it. Like, it's hard to, it's hard to kind of get there, sort of, mentally or emotionally or whatever, if you just don't have experience in those situations as much. It's hard to see things from other people's perspective if you haven't been on the other side of that as much. Right, so it's like, and again, there, you know, there may not be anything that's directly comparable if you don't, like, exactly go to raves, but maybe it's something like, and it sounds like you probably don't go out to bars and stuff like that too much either, but But just imagine, like, if you wanted to go to a sports game or a bar, or just, like, go over to your friend's house, play D&D or play some video games one night or something like that. Maybe you want to go over to your buddy's house, play some Call of Duty one night or whatever, and your girlfriend is, you know, got to get up in the morning, she can't go, and you're going over there, and there's going to be some people over there drinking, there's going to be some of your friends, you know, has a girlfriend and she's got single friends that are going to be there, so there's like going to be some other girls there, you know, and you're going to be out till 3 a.m. hanging out, gaming with them or whatever. You know, she'll trust that. Or even just if you're going to be out late. Remember, that was something when we'd go play, you know, video games over at Connor's. Sometimes we'd be out. I don't remember how late we were there. It was pretty late. And it's like, we all had girlfriends, and it's like,
dude, we were, some nights it's like after 4.
Yeah. But, you know, we were out till 3 or 4 in the morning, and we're telling our girlfriends or wives, you know, that we're out there playing these video games, but we could have been doing anything, right? They don't have tracking devices on us. Who knows what the hell we're doing, right? And so they're just trusting that we're out there, like, hanging out with the boys. I mean, in theory, yeah, they could ask Connor's wife and say, hey, were they actually there if they didn't trust us? But it's like, you just gotta... It just comes back to what I was saying. If someone's gonna cheat, they're gonna cheat, right? Like, they're gonna find a way. You can't track them 24/7. That's what I think anyways. And so it's like, at the end of the day, you just gotta trust.
I am only as wild as magic.
Not to. Well, I don't know if cheating so that you care less about what she does. I mean, nice. I think part of what builds relationships too, and it just kind of depends, is sort of this like, it's tough to be emotionally vulnerable to say, hey, if she does cheat, it is going to break my heart, right? But that's like, I think for a lot of people, that's part of caring about somebody, is to be somewhat emotionally vulnerable. I don't know if that's not necessarily true. Like, I never recommend cheating unless, like, it's a, I mean, it wouldn't even really be cheating, but if it was like a poly thing where you both have an agreement, you can see other people or something, and both people are cool with that, then that's fine. But I think it's just kind of the, they're coming for us right now, we gotta get out. Oh, ah! Nice. This guy's is actually pretty good. But yeah, it's not really about the sex, it's about the respect. And that's what I think. So, my girl is taking an overnight trip to San Francisco with a friend. I mean, you gotta just trust. Like, my wife, she has lunch and goes on walks with this dude that she works with. And she tells me about it. You know, obviously. But we're really not the jealous type, so it's like, let's go by.
I was worried there for a second.
I mean, how much gold do you have? This is a dumb stay. I mean, dude's top, but like, I don't have my ult, so we don't have any kill threat. I mean, if she's like really close to an item, like I said, I used to feel that way too, but you just have to come at it from the mindset of like, okay, if they're gonna cheat, they're gonna cheat, right? Like, if they're going with a friend. Is there any way I can change my mindset? I think you can. I mean, just like the stuff that I'm saying, maybe it doesn't work right away, but if you just kind of reflect on it. Damn, if I'd hit that W, we'd have had him though. It's unfortunate. But sometimes things just do take experience though, too.
Uh-oh.
Is that a TP? Okay.
They think they can catch me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
You're only given a little
there's
spark.
kind of a, like, again, it's one of those things where it's like, we're not your parents, but we're like older people talking about stuff, but it's like, sometimes it just doesn't make sense unless you, like I'm saying, like, you've had the experience, so I totally get it, that it's like, it's difficult to get around that, to try to get comfortable with that, but, like, if you hear it from enough different people and they explain it in, like, different ways, I think it is possible, but... I mean, you don't even have to cheat. You can just mentally check out, too. Like, you can teach yourself to do that. I'm not sure if that's, like, a good thing necessarily. But you can just be like, I don't care. Like, if she cheats, I'm breaking up with her, and I'll just go find somebody else, right? Like, you can have that mentality, too. That's kind of like the jaded... grizzly veteran, you know. But I would say just trust, you know what I mean? Like, unless they've given you a reason not to trust, I always kind of default to trust. Unless they're doing something that seems, like, particularly sus.
An ally has been slain.
I mean, there are all kinds of things you can do to, like, try to catch a cheater and things like that, too. But...
Okay, Rakan. I'm watching. Burn 'em. I need to see if people can see how awesome I am. Don't leave nothing. Bring it
Teach
on.
me how, please. Well, so... I think one of the biggest things, like, for me, is to try to balance... Just understand that most things really don't matter. Like, when you're younger, the stuff that happens or whatever. I feel like they don't a lot of times. Like, some things that seem like they're sort of a big deal kind of aren't. Like that dude giving my girlfriend a hug. Like, who cares, you know? Or like... Even when I broke up with her, I was like kind of afraid of breaking up with her. Because I was just like, oh man, I won't find anybody else and all this stuff. And she was cool, but I did find somebody else. You know, I found my wife at the end of the day, and there were some other cool girls that I dated before I got to my wife, and we're gonna get like cut off here. We're coming this way.
I'm gonna die.
I can't heal Fizz that for that long. Disaster.
It is a song you cannot resist. Should I be running? Yeah, I should probably be running.
Come on, bro. How long was that? Dude, that was like 20 fucking seconds. Bro, like seriously, how long was I out of combat? I understand, and that's how a lot of people feel, especially with your first girlfriend. You know, you have those strong emotions. You don't want to be hurt, but again, in order to have, again, for a lot of people to have a meaningful relationship, you've got to be at least a little vulnerable. Like, yeah, it's gonna suck if you break up. That's just all there is to it. It's kind of like, I don't know, maybe like the gym or something might be an analogy, right? Like, I don't know if that's a great one or not. I just thought of that off the top of my head, but it's like, you know, yeah, you might get injured. Go into the gym. But, you know, you get some really good benefits out of it. And there might be some days where you do get a little injured or you are particularly sore and it just doesn't feel like, you're like, why am I doing this to myself? You know what I mean? But ultimately, it's a good thing. Or,
Don't take a lot of words to tell the
can't think of just other things where you might be vulnerable, right? Like, job interview. Something like that, like going and applying for this cool job that you want. And yeah, you might get rejected. You may not make it. But, I mean, also, I think a useful thing to keep in mind is, like, at least for me, something doesn't have to be permanent to have value.
I got turret right here. Come to me. Come to me.
Okay.
You can.
I'm gonna try to bait him over to me. Okay.
I'm here. I am so bad.
Something doesn't have to be permanent to have value. Oh my god.
Oh, they're all here. Well, that's rough.
Jeez, I got jebaited. Well, they're getting stuff done middle. So what I mean by that is, I don't regret dating that girl in high school, right? Even though we broke up, we had some good times. It was fun. You know, it didn't work out in the long run. But even if you told me, well, I had a different mentality back then. I didn't have as much experience. But, you know, if you broke it down and explained it to me, like, look, this is not going to work out in the long run. But, and I didn't really buy into that too much when I was younger. Like, I just really wasn't interested in trying to date somebody if I didn't think there was a possibility I could marry them at some point.
I don't apologize for it.
And, you know, you don't have to go into a relationship understanding that it's not going to work out in the long run. Some people will do that. You'd be like, hey, this is fun. It's a short-term thing. Sure. I'd be a little bit more okay with that these days. But back then, I wasn't. But even if it does end, it doesn't mean that that it wasn't worth doing, right? Because if you come into like that mentality, right, this whole fatalist, if it doesn't work out in the end, then it's not worth it. I mean, that's life, right? Like, spoiler alert, everybody dies. So, you know, nothing really, quote unquote, works out in the end, right? I mean, afterlife aside, right? Whatever people want to think about the afterlife. You do it, you know, for the journey. And you just kind of focus on the journey. That's what I think. It's like, even if it doesn't have the ending that you'd like, just try to be present, you know, just kind of be here and now. Just say, hey, I'm having a good time with her right now. We enjoy each other's company. We have a good time. Yeah, we might break up in the future for whatever reason. But things are good now, so let's just, let's just do this. Can I get her? I got her, I think.
Oh my god. I hit the
burn out?
freaking...
Oh, we got her, baby. Oh.
Oh no.
Here comes Yi. Come on, baby! Ah!
What is happening?
Why does it feel like they have 20 people on their team?
Why? Oh my god. I lived so long.
It's like every time there's a fight, it's literally all 5 of them. No, Midlet. That's not revenge, dude. That's destroying yourself. Midlet says the best way to get your revenge is get her pregnant and then dip. It's like, I don't know if you've heard of child support.
Very expensive.
Yeah, it's not a good thing. I have several friends that are divorced. Not because they did that, but they just happen to have a kid with someone they're no longer with. It is a headache. Like, it happens, but man, I would not say that would be all bad for her and all good for you. You're gonna have to pay a lot of money, take a lot of time. I mean, I know you're joking, but definitely don't do that. But yeah, I mean, that's my mentality on it. It's just like, just try to be present in the moment. If you feel like you can trust her, then you just gotta trust her. And if it doesn't work out in the end, at least you had some good times.
Oh, can we kill him?
I think so. It's gonna be too fast. He ulted away. I had to blow my ult, but he also had to blow his ult for that. No way. Nice. No, probably dead. Got him.
Got him.
Is anyone alive? Okay, yeah, he's.
This build's so funny.
Hell yeah.
I just gotta get Zodius, so then I'll be unkillable.
It's all good too. So, hey, if you want to sometimes, yeah, we could play another one. Hopefully that helps. Again, I know it's difficult. I totally remember it. I feel you. First girlfriend, you just want to, you know, this perfect scenario. But I mean, realistically, there are going to be things as you stay in a longer relationship with people, right? There's going to be stuff that's going to be imperfect. And that's just going to happen, right? She's going to say stuff, she's going to do stuff that's not ideal. But you got to keep in mind, you're going to say stuff and do stuff that's not ideal for her too. So sometimes it's not necessarily, is she doing everything I want her to do for me? But you also have to think, is she putting up with a lot of stuff also that I do, you know, as well? So you got to look at the other side of it.
Oh my god.
I don't know if I needed to do all that. Honestly, didn't know who that was because of the skin. I didn't know that was the support offhand. Oh, she's dead. Alright. So it's like, for instance, not every, hell. For example, like, not every girlfriend or wife is going to be cool with me staying up till, you know, 1 in the morning playing video games with the homies. Most nights. Like, some will, some won't. It's, you know, so you got to keep that in mind. It's like, okay, you know, is there something that Sandra does that is not 100% ideal? Right, sure. But there's also stuff that I do that if she was drawing up a 100% ideal person, she would not draw that up. You know, she'd probably wish I would be more handy, help her build stuff, or remember things better, or whatever, you know? Then abandon it. Unlucky natural selection. I don't know. Aren't there ways to avoid child support, like move to a different country? I mean, you can, but again, that's really expensive. And just kind of like, you know, it's not only your wife or whatever, it's like your kid. Like, you're kind of fucking your kid over at that point, too. The fuck did she go? Oh, she flashed that way.
I'm gonna take all they got.
Gotta wait on Kaisa here.
I'm gonna peel Kaisa.
Okay. Oh, get wrecked, noob. But yeah, I mean, really, like, if you have a kid, that should be your top priority in your life. I don't know. But anyways.
Magic isn't supposed to.
Handsy, not handy. That's right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it really does. I know it's just like a cliche, but kids really, it's a whole different thing when it's your kid versus somebody else's kid. If you're not like a sociopath.
It's all filthy and dangerous.
But yeah, I think, you know, again, I would say just try to have a whatever happens, happens mentality. So, like, care, and you can kind of guard your feelings in that way, but I think the biggest thing is just to try to have a longer-term perspective, and it's difficult, again, if you haven't had a lot of experience, it's hard to get that longer-term perspective. Just try to say, hey, I'm just gonna try to have some good memories, some good moments. Just try to have a good time here. That's right, Sammy. Just try to have a good time and enjoy your company. If you like being around her, if you enjoy your company, if most of it's, you know, good times, just roll with it. That's what I would say. And then if it works out, it works out. If not,
Did you say you have one more?
do what?
You say you have one more?
I can do one more, sure.
Alright, cool.
So hopefully that helps. I'm not sure if you're still here or not, Toos, but... I have to work in an hour. Okay, I got you. Cool. Well, yeah, hopefully that helps. Again, I know it's tough. I don't know you personally, like, as far as, like, you know, hanging out. I definitely don't know your dynamic, and everybody's dynamic is different. I mean, if it's sincerely stressing you out all the time and you can't find a way around it, then, you know, maybe consider your options. But it's also worth considering just thinking, okay, am I going to be stressed out with anybody because I just worry a lot and this is, you know, my first girlfriend. So if you switch her out with almost anybody else, would you be similarly worried or stressed? And so that's worth considering too. And then just thinking like, you know, well, if that's the case, if it's just me, then maybe this is just something that I'm just gonna have to try to work through. I mean, you could try to explain some of this to her if you want. It kind of depends on what your dynamic is, but you could just say, you know, I'm sorry, I know this is important to you, and I want you to go do this and have a lot of fun, and I'm gonna work through it, but I am a little stressed out because this is my first serious relationship, and I just don't want to, you know, I don't want to get my heart broken, right? You could say something like that. If I have a GF that's not outgoing, I guess. I mean, it could be a personality thing, you know, if they do stuff, if you just prefer someone that's more introverted or whatever, like that's a thing, but it just depends, you know. I feel like types, I used to think I had a type, you know, and maybe there's a certain kind of type that I had, but for instance, when I was younger, I was like, oh, I want to date, like, you know, another English major, or, you know, just this person that had a lot of really similar interests to me. But it's like some of those people could be cool or interesting personally, but there's something to be said for dating people that are sort of opposite to you. It's like opposites attract, sort of, sometimes, but it's really more like compatible skills. Like, it's good that Sandra's great at designing and building stuff around the house and organizing things, and art, and, you know, because my daughters really love art and all this, and so she's good at a lot of things that I'm not good at as far as skills. So we have enough in common in terms of sense of humor and sort of being on the same emotional wavelength, and like we've got a lot of things in common, but lots of our hobbies and our skills are different. So we actually complement each other well. And so she's on the introverted side, where she doesn't like just meeting new people and talking to people, and she's kind of shy at first. But, you know, I think that she likes the fact that I am extroverted, so that I can go out and meet people and just kind of warm them up and keep the conversation going. Like, she's good and social too, but I think that she likes that I kind of warm up the conversation and sort of set her up in conversations and things like that. Or that I can, like, give her some ideas if she has, you know, like an important job interview or job meeting, or, you know, stuff like that, then I can give her a different perspective, like help her figure out, like, you know, an extra, quote unquote, extroverted kind of strategy to help her out there. Oh, I see. Well, I mean, that's a whole different set of things. If you feel like you're only in it because you're guilty or whatever, you feel guilt over something, that's probably not good. But, okay, hey, thanks, Sammy. It was really great to see you again. Hopefully, we'll see you again soon. I'm glad everything's going well. What's up, Tiny? So, yeah, it depends. I mean, sometimes extroverted people can really stress out introverted people. But sometimes it's nice to have an extrovert around if you are introverted, because they can do a lot of the heavy lifting for you in, you know, conversations when y'all are meeting other people or hanging out with friends.
For us, it is water.
But yeah, as far as that last scenario you mentioned too, so that's just kind of tough. So like, if she still makes you happy, if you guys are still having fun, and you're having a good time, then I would say, you know, stick with it. But if ultimately you're just not happy anymore and you're just kind of sticking with it because you feel sort of guilty, then you know, maybe consider your options.
Man, have you
But yeah, it sounds like mostly like you have a pretty good time with her, you like her. It's just like this, her going to this thing is the major issue as far as the vibe that I'm getting. So, but that's gonna be something that you're gonna encounter with almost anybody, right? Like, again, anyone that you date, like, they're probably gonna have friends and want to go out and hang out with their friends, so sometimes. I mean, you could try to find, you know, like a homebody where it's like literally you're their entire world. But if that happens, it could be hard for you to go out and hang out with friends. But maybe you don't want to do that. I don't know. I mean, there are girls out there, there are partners out there that will just, you know, they call them, you know, clingy or whatever, but they will, you know, maybe aim for 100% uptime on hanging out. And I used to be similar to that, like hanging out quite a bit with my girlfriend in high school, but wait. We'll go on 3. Well, I mean, the sexuality has to kind of be on point. I don't think any degree of sex is necessarily universal, right? Some people care more about that or the frequency of that than others. But I think what's important is like that both people are comfortable with. Okay, so all of that is 830. So
I don't do safe.
So, yeah, I mean, you're under no permanent obligation to stay with her just because, you know, you guys had sex, but that is something to consider, you know, someone else's feelings, but ultimately you need to be happy too. But it's kind of hard to know. Again, experience is kind of like what is happy, you know? Because like right now, I'm not stressed out at all. If she was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go hang out with my boss after work and grab a couple of drinks or something," like I wouldn't care. Yeah, that's sort of what you're like saying. Like, I don't know. Early on, especially when it's your first time or someone else's first or second, or, you know, pretty early in the game, like, it does feel really special. And I mean, that's good. Like, it's a cool thing, but at the same time, you shouldn't feel like you have to be unhappy to honor, you know, this sort of what's perceived as like almost like an implicit promise to stay with this person because they had sex with you. Like, they chose to do that.
They will remember my name.
Unless you, I mean, it's a little different if you like said, "Hey, I'm gonna marry you, just do it," right? Like, that's different. But if it's like you both just wanted to do it, you were in it, I mean, you both got something out of it, presumably. Like, it's not just that she's doing you this huge favor. I mean, maybe, but like, she chose to do it, so it just kind of depends. As long as there weren't any like false pretenses, you know, explicitly, then
I don't apologize for it. I feel good.
Oh, you've said you're gonna marry her so many times. Well, I mean, people change their minds too about stuff. Like, you guys are young. You can say that, right? Like, had really pondered. I don't think I ever said it explicitly, but I'd definitely said I love you and stuff like that to really early girlfriends, and I did in the moment. And they're still cool. Like, I don't really harbor any animosity towards these other ones, but it's like, well,
If you aren't a little frightened, you ain't alive.
First blood.
I don't know. It's tough. Like, people can change their minds about things, but sounds like if you said that, then you probably, you know, meant it, so I would hear her out. Again, I don't know the whole situation, but there's always a grass is greener, especially when you're younger, right? It always feels like, too, and I haven't gotten much of this sense from just us talking, but, you know, if you're thinking, oh, well, what if there's some other girls out there who, you know, would be more interesting or would do this or that that my current girlfriend doesn't do, and it's like, maybe, but there's always a price, right? Like, nobody's gonna be perfect. Everybody's got some stuff about them that you're gonna think is cool, and some stuff about them that probably less than ideal. So you just gotta figure out what matters to you and just kind of who you gel with. Hey, what's up, BE? Hey, thanks, Tony. I appreciate it. It's always great to see you, too. So, I mean, how old is she? Is she about your age? What are you these days? You like 20? I'm trying to remember.
It is a song you cannot resist.
Time flies by. 19, 20, something like that. I highly recommend. I mean, it just depends. Okay. So she's 22 and you're 20?
But you too.
Oh, you're 22. Damn, really? I think I remember us playing in high school. Maybe that was when you were in college or you just graduated or something. Man, time really does fly.
Yeah, it does.
What the fuck? How? Oh, man, his flash literally just came up. So annoying. I mean, I guess the channel has been around for 6 or 7 years.
Why is it taking so long to get back to the action?
Well, that's about, you know, I mean, my wife and I got married in 24 and 25. Push this, push this.
I'm not sure where talent's at.
Where is he?
Top.
Okay.
An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Kane is gonna swag on these guys.
Nice.
Fun. I need some fun. Now.
I think we were trying to give that to you, bro. But you sort of fucked up. He definitely could have killed the Jinx with his passive. I guess we'll just do Ionians. Because a lot of Nautilus's stuff is not going to be reduced by tenacity.
Just a fury humans don't see.
Yeah. I think in general it's good to have dated a few people before you get married, but sometimes you do find the right, you know, the right person right away. Like, one of my relatives, or two of them, I guess, whatever, they got married, and I mean, God, they've been married for almost 60 years or something, I think, 50-something years. But it was up in, like, you know, Appalachia, really rural area. There weren't a lot of people around, and I think he was 21 and she was like 15 or something. But, like, the parents agreed to it, and
An enemy has been slain.
you You know, today people would think that's really weird, but it's like, I mean, they've literally been married for 60 years. Several kids. I mean, every time I've been around them, they seem great for each other. Okay, nice. So it's like sometimes, I mean, there's a reason there are statutory laws for sure, but you know, this was one where the parents said it was cool and it worked out. So I'm not necessarily saying about like statutory, but just that like anything about statutory, but just that sometimes you really can find someone awesome right off the bat. But other times, I think it's good to have experience before. But it just depends. I don't know where I was going with that. But the bottom line is just because you say you're going to marry him, unless you're like buying rings and you're at the altar or whatever, you can still say stuff in good faith at one point and then change your mind later. It doesn't necessarily mean anything malicious or unethical is going on. It's just you just kind of learn more about the person or learn about the situation. Okay. I don't have ult, but if you TP,
I got 18 seconds.
Okay.
Hold on.
No, he's gonna come.
I mean, I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah, it's fine.
You guys are going too soon.
Got his ult, I guess. Or his flash. So it's like, you should do your best to try to communicate clearly, but honestly, people should not, it's hard to do, but you just can't hold people fully accountable forever and always for stuff they've said in the past, because people just change their mind and learn stuff, especially younger people. So it's like, obviously she's gonna be kind of bummed, you know, if she thinks you guys are getting married and then you don't. It was close. I maybe could have killed her, but
How is that even possible?
oh, right here maybe.
Damn it!
Zir the assist master.
Fucking new.
I mean, I'm just never gonna agree with that misanthrope kind of take that Midlet's going for there. Already mid. Alright, we're gonna get bottom. I don't know if we can kill her. I don't think we can kill her.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
They're scared of dark. They're scared of magic. They are scared of where I belong.
Drop it, Nunu. Drop it, Nunu. Just come get the fucking objective. They left. Okay.
I don't want the world to be safe.
do first and ask for forgiveness later. There is some truth to that. I mean, sometimes that's what people actually want you to do. It depends, but I know that, like, occasionally, like, in some of the jobs I've been in, I can just kind of tell, you know, because if you tell, at least in a professional setting, if you tell somebody who's a superior something, they could be under obligation to react in a certain way. Even if they agree with you, they might be forced to say, okay, well, our policy is this, you have to follow this policy. Right? But there might be like a wink wink nudge nudge kind of situation. It depends. It's like, well, our policy is you can't lift a box over 50 pounds, you know, or whatever. You gotta call in Larry for that. But it's like, if you just lifted it yourself and never said anything, then no one's gonna care. Or if someone calls you out on it, you're like, oh, sorry about that, I forgot, you know? So, usually I think, like, just straight honesty is the best policy, but sometimes it's like, it is better to do and then ask later. Now, if that comes to, like, cheating or having an affair, I don't agree with that. Because you know, like, what the policy on that is, what the stance on that is.
I dance because I'm
Mr. Beastie.
I think Kane is like able to 1v3 now.
Okay.
Love is supposed to hurt. Ecstasy means
Unstoppable. Your team has destroyed a turret.
I got her flash too, it's nice. I mean, that's kind of the, what's his name? That dude that's like going to prison for the pedophile shit in Europe. An influencer guy, like that's all kind of like his acolytes would say things like that, but I don't know. I disagree with that. I mean, just because there are some people doing like unethical or bad things out there doesn't mean like everybody should have a pass for that. That the wrong way.
they've never seen news like
That's troll.
Kind of is. Well, there is dating. I mean, look, if both people are on board with whatever, then sure. Like, if both people are on board with, like, a situationship or poly or whatever, that's fine. I just feel like, you know, the guiding ethic in my mind is whenever possible, you should try to improve the life experiences of other people as much as you can. Right? With obvious accommodations for, like, yourself and other things. I mean, it's not always that clean. But I think in general, just trying to adjust what you're doing to try to be as amenable as possible to other people where appropriate. I mean, sometimes you gotta take a stand. You know, sometimes you gotta say stuff that some people don't want to hear, or that's not gonna be pleasant, or you gotta make some hard decisions, right? Like, obviously, but I think a guiding principle is if you can do something in a way that's less douche than you should. That's sort of what I think. Sort of a technical definition. I think the way that you do stuff and thinking about other people and considering their situation and their feelings, stuff like that. I think that does matter. I don't think it's just like do whatever is most logical or most efficient or... Fuck, oh, I didn't have the flash, damn it.
Oh my god.
Ha! Nice. Damn, he didn't even have Dustblade. But yeah, I mean, a lot of younger people are okay with situationships, but I think a lot of it derives from some of these things we're talking about here. Is people are just too afraid of getting hurt, or they just have been hurt so many times. So if you just don't make yourself vulnerable, then you're not going to be hurt. But then a lot of people aren't happy because they don't have anything committed. Like, they think they don't want commitment, but then they kind of do. They want to have it both ways. They want to not be vulnerable and not get hurt, but then also have someone commit to them. I feel like that's kind of an irony. I mean, a lot of society, just from like a practical standpoint, is also kind of designed where you need collaboration. It's like, you know, life is like a raid boss in many ways. It feels like. And it's like, it's hard to solo it, right? It's hard to solo a house. It's hard to solo a mortgage by yourself. Hard to pay for medical bills, you know, by yourself. Hard to have kids by yourself. I mean, obviously, physically, well, I guess you could, maybe, with science these days, but, you know, it's hard to afford kids, hard to afford a house, hard to afford a lot of stuff if you don't have two incomes. You can do that with just, like, roommates and stuff, and friends, a lot of that, but...
Without wild magic, we have no children, we have no...
I don't know. I just think the best outcomes in life in general, whether it's relationships, professional, or whatever, is just try to be courteous and considerate of other people wherever you can be. I think there are very few situations where you have to be... where it's going to be to your advantage not to be considerate. Even if you have to break up with somebody or fire them or fail, you know, a paper they wrote or, you know, whatever, like, there's still courteous, respectful, compassionate ways to do all of those things rather than just telling them how it is, you know. Now, if somebody's been unethical or disrespectful to you, that's where it gets a little more challenging. Like, it's easy to be courteous and respectful to people that are courteous and respectful to you, at least for most people. But it's like, when you're dealing with someone that's kind of a douchebag or maybe doesn't quote-unquote deserve the respect, then that's harder. I mean, that was Jesus' whole thing, right? I mean, not to, like, be a Christian thing or whatever, but it's like... that was sort of his whole ethos, is, like, trying to give people respect who don't usually deserve respect, trying to treat people well, even if they don't deserve it. But it's not just, like, specifically a religion. I think a lot of religions have something like that. That's kind of it. I wouldn't dump her just because she's pretty. I mean, it depends.
Heck yeah.
GG's, man. That was a goodie. Couple
That
of good
was.
ones. Ended up on.
That was.
All right, man. Well, GG's. I'll catch you next time.
Yep, take care.
Yeah, have a good one. I can stay on for a couple more minutes and chat, but... Well, I mean, it sounds like that situation is kind of similar to what it was for me in high school, where it's like I had a great physical relationship with this girl that I dated for 2.5 years, and I ended up breaking up with her because there wasn't as much, like, substance, but...
That is taking too long for my peanut butter and jelly.
Okay, I'm gonna come do it right now, here in just a couple minutes. I'm almost done. I thought you fell asleep or something.
I did not fall asleep.
Okay.
Wait.
Yeah, I mean, if you start to talk about longer term stuff like marriage or
Dad,
moving
what-
in or whatever,
Dad, what-
I would definitely say move in with someone before getting married. Like 100%. I think you should live together for at least 6 months to a year. What?
What should I do?
Okay. That's cool. Wow.
Whoa.
Very good.
I can't even do this. I can even do this. Dad, watch. Dad, watch for the
Okay. Okay, go. Honey, daddy's trying to... Alright, that's cool. So yeah, I mean, I see what kind of like Scruz's saying. If it's like, it's literally, that's it. I mean, that is kind of tough. If she feels like there's more, and she's like way more emotionally invested than you are, then that does kind of become an ethical thing at a certain point where you have to start to consider, okay, maybe it's not fair to her to try to stay in this if you're not really in it, right? If you're thinking of her side of it. But if you do still like her, if you do still enjoy her company, then you can still just ride it out and see. Yeah. I mean, it's difficult if you haven't, like, had a lot of other relationships to kind of compare it to. It just sort of depends. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having just, like, a mostly physical relationship and just chilling with your friends, and that's where you get kind of your social stuff, or, like, your depth is from friends, and then you just kind of got your home life. But, you know, for me, I kind of wanted it, you know, I did want more substance. But if both people are on board with, like, yeah, we just have a good physical relationship and we just hang out and, you know, meet up a few times a week and go watch a movie and eat dinner and get it on and whatever, and that's it, then, like, that's, you know, that's fine if both people are cool with that. But, yeah, if it's something you're not cool with, I mean, I would say before just any sort of break, I would talk about these things with her and just kind of see what happens. Just say, hey, you know, I'm uncomfortable with this at this time. I'm trying to feel more confident in this. Or if she says something rude to you, you know, just say, hey, I see what you're trying to say. I understand that. But I think maybe there's a more respectful way you could put that or something. You know, that kind of makes me feel this way. Something like that, right? So if there is something that bothers you, address it, right? Don't just let it, like, eat at you. Well, yeah, I mean, you can think that if somebody's not good looking, but, you know, I do feel like there has to be some level of attraction. Now, does that mean that you're having sex every day? Not necessarily, especially as you get older. But I think you do have to be somewhat attracted to each other, right? I think that there are different kinds of things that can be attractive, right? Different qualities can be attractive, and some of that is mental or emotional too. It doesn't just have to be that they have a banging body. You know, it could be just their personality you find attractive, or just other things. Obviously could be the body, but yeah, there has to be a certain level there. So I don't think there's any shame in saying, yeah, you know, most of the time, if I just completely wasn't attracted to this person, I probably wouldn't date him. It's like, I mean, yeah, I think that's how a lot of people are. Again, it doesn't just have to be physical, but there has to be some level of, like, chemistry. Or it's like, why not just friend zone it if there's no chemistry, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, that's how it is too. Like, I wasn't fat, but like I was skinny and I never worked out, and it's like, yeah, girls paid a lot more attention to me. I mean, I still had that girlfriend when I was skinny, and I was still like did stuff. Like I was on the cross country team. You know, I was active. I played basketball all the time, just at a casual level and stuff like that. But yeah, I really wasn't like hitting the gym, getting jacked up, and it's like, of course, when I do that, then I started getting, you know, more attention from girls when I was in college. And, you know, I've never point blank asked my wife that, but it's like, if I did, honestly, if I was like, hey, if I wasn't like in great shape when we met, would you have dated me? The answer's probably no, man. I don't know. Like, I've never asked her that. I don't want to, like, pose that question to her. It's a little bit of an unfair question, but it's like, appearances matter. I had a friend, you know, when I was, like, in high school, I was like, well, I want a girl to like me for me. I don't want her to just like me because, you know, because I look good or I've got money. I want her to like me for me. And then my buddy put it, he's like, okay, but she can still like you for you, but it's never going to hurt if you work out and you take care of yourself a little bit more. And, you know, he's right. I mean, think about it from the other side, right? If this girl that you're dating, if she was just like, looked like a 1, right? Would you want to date her? Would you have given her a chance if she came up and she had all these qualities to her that you would find unattractive or potentially even repulsive, right? It's like, probably not, you know? I mean, once you get to know somebody, you can work around stuff, right? If you've been dating them for years and they put on a little weight, like, that's different. But it's like initial attraction, it is what it is. It's a part of it. Chemistry's a part of it, so. Sorry, let me catch up here. So I don't think that that's necessarily wrong to say, look, if she didn't look like meet a certain criteria of looks, then you wouldn't have been interested. I think everyone has like a threshold, right? And I think that's fine. Like, not everyone has to be a 10 or perfect, but there has to be, like I keep saying, some chemistry there, right? Even if they're not like a physical god or goddess or whatever that's perfect for you, but they've just got that kind of charisma in the way they talk with you or they flirt with you, or, you know, there can be other things. But there's got to be something, I feel like. Put so much weight on sex, it's not just the biggest thing. I mean, that's true, yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, if arguments make you closer, that's good. Well, that's good. I mean, that's also standing the test of time. I mean, again, it sounds like you don't have a lot of basis for comparison, but you also have to be a little appreciative. It's hard to have that without the experience, but be appreciative of certain things. The grass is greener where you water. Well, that's good too, because I feel like a lot of people, myself included, especially when I was younger, you know, it's easy to think, man, this is so difficult to deal with this, just hypothetically what this girl's doing, or I don't like this behavior that she has. There's probably someone else out here who wouldn't do this or didn't have this behavior. And it's like, maybe, but they might also have some other stuff that you don't like, right? Like, nobody's going to be perfect, and you're not going to be perfect either. And I think that's important to realize, and that's something that I've come to appreciate more as I got older, is it's like, I'm not perfect either. People have to deal with stuff, right? And it's like, what would perfect even mean is different for everybody. So again, you know, stuff that I do that, you know, there's some things that some girls would not like. I don't make a lot of money, right? I work as an adjunct at a university. That's a big one, especially, you know, as you get older as a guy, people expect you to make more money. Like, they'll kind of excuse it more if you're a teenager in your 20s and stuff, or you're working on things, but, you know, don't make a lot of money. I, you know, play a decent amount of video games. That's something a lot of, again, especially as you get older, A lot of women are going to judge you more harshly for that, potentially. I'm kind of a smaller dude, just in terms of my stature. Some girls like, big dudes, 200 plus. That's never going to be me. I have ADHD, so sometimes I just don't remember stuff. People tell me things, I'll just forget. Like, I listen, but I just don't remember sometimes. I talk a lot. Sometimes a lot of girls may not like somebody who talks a lot. So yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff to realize that it's like, that's not necessarily like, all of those things aren't necessarily flaws or like really bad things, but they are things that would be incompatible with some people. And I know that some of those annoy my wife, right? Like, I know she wishes I would have photographic memory sometimes, because, it can be like, oh, I told you that yesterday, or I told you this or that, and I'll be like, well, I forgot, But yeah, it's just kind of working through it together and figuring out what matters, and like you said, just kind of working through some stuff. That is cool. Yeah, I mean, and that takes a lot of maturity, especially you said she's like 20. That's a pretty big emotional maturity just to even want to talk about and work through stuff too, right? Because this is the age of ghost, right? A lot of people, if you just say something that's a little off, or they don't like it, they're just going to ghost you, or cheat on you, or break it off, or whatever. Like, people are very, very fickle. Not everybody, but I feel like increasingly younger people will have shorter attention spans, and they are going to be more fickle because they do have social media. There are all these dating apps. So, they can figure, this person's not exactly what I want. I've got, 1,000 other dudes on Tinder that are messaging me. I'll try one of them out, right? So the fact that she's like sticking with you, even though you guys do seem to have this friction, seems to me, at least, very little that we have, a pretty high level of emotional maturity for a 20-year-old, which is good if you're looking for kind of a longer term thing. Willing to be logical. Logic is interesting. That's something that I teach in my class, because really, we don't make decisions based on like mathematical logic a lot of times. What logic really is understanding someone's values, right? And being able to speak to their values. So it's really a lot more rhetorical than mathematical. So something might seem perfectly reasonable and logical to one person, but not reasonable and logical to somebody else. But if you're both seem logical, then you probably have a similar set of values, which is a good thing. Zero dudes messaging me, got the Riz but no spoons. That's pretty funny, hearing it as yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I think it's good because my wife doesn't talk as much. She will talk, but the fact that I talk more and she'll listen more is like, it's a good balance. Because if you have two people where nobody talks, sometimes that can be okay if people just like to sit in silence and chill. But sometimes that can feel a little awkward or weird. And then sometimes if you have both talkers, right, then one person can be annoyed if they don't feel like they're getting enough, speech time or whatever. So I say usually having one chiller and one thriller is what I call it in a relationship. Seems to be a good mix. So one person who's kind of outgoing, one person who is a little more cerebral and relaxed and not as high strung. Maybe another person is a little bit more type A, so like a type A and a type B kind of thing. I don't know if it's quite that simplistic, but it's okay to have differences and to disagree about things, and that can be good. So, I don't know. To me, it sounds like I would just write it out based on this limited information that we have. So if you want to, you can decide if you want to talk to her again about the trip, And, you know, it sounds like you could just explain it like, look, I know this is important to you, and I want you to have a good time. I want you to be happy. I'm just kind of struggling with this because, you know, I really care about you a lot. And I've just seen other friends and heard about other people. It just really kind of stressing their relationship when they go to clubs and bars and things like that. And, you know, I don't want to feel that way, but I do. So I'm trying to work through this. And you just say, I'm just telling you how I feel because that's just where I am right now. So I'm working on it, and I want you to be happy. I want you to have a good time. But I also kind of have this, you know, fear, this insecurity in my mind because of other stuff that I've seen and heard about what goes on at raves. So that's just why I've seemed a little I don't know, a little anxious about this. Just something like that, right? Just say it's not you, it's me. I want you to have a good time. I'm just trying to work my way through it. That kind of thing. But, I mean, I think just being honest like that is never a bad thing. And just, again, just making it clear that, like, you want her to be happy, but at the same time, you're anxious about this. So it's kind of, you're at this conflicted emotional state here, kind of thing. Yeah, someone who does heavy drugs, I've never been with someone that really did a lot of drugs. I think if someone like smokes weed, I'd probably be okay with that. But yeah, if it's like coke or meth or anything like that, pills. So yeah, you can keep us posted. I mean, I'm here just about every night, so if you want to come in and give us some updates and talk, we're always happy to do that. I think everyone here has given some pretty good, like, different perspectives on it, but I would just be honest and just separate out that you understand that she wants to do it and you want her to be happy, and that's one thing, but you're also anxious about this in general because you care about her and you've seen that these types of things can really challenge a relationship sometimes. So just, you know, make sure she understands those are two separate things. And that you want to work on it, but that's just how you feel, and you don't know how to get around it, but you want to get around it. You do want to work on it because you do want her to be happy. So I think there's really no way she could probably be mad at you about that. Okay. But anyways, that's it. I got to get out of here. I got to get up in the morning and take the girls. But best of luck with that. Definitely come in. You know, if you need some more pep talk or just hanging out, chatting, you know, we'd love to see how this goes for you. But overall, thank y'all very much, as usual, for tuning in. And we'll see you next time. Have a good day.